bet you guys didn't know that my cat's actually, in a way, considered a service animal, because he calmed down my anxiety, right? And he could feel that I was getting really anxious while preparing for this video, so he started like coming up to me and cuddling, hence why my face is itching so much, because I'm still allergic to him. Hey guys, I'm Zoe Little. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're gonna get a little bit personal, and in the spirit of LGBT and Pride being like a couple of weeks away, I decided to do an LGBT tag type of thing that I had to research way too damn long to find. But yeah, let's get started. First question, how would you describe your sexuality and your gender identity? My sexuality is either just lesbian or homo flexible, which just basically means that I, for the most part, am just homo, so just gay. And then there's that really odd chance that I'll actually like a boy, but it's very small. Okay, second question. First person you came out to and the story. Okay, first person I came out to was, I think, going back in my memory, way back in 6th grade, considering I'm in 10th grade now, but going way back, the only thing I could think of, I knew it was during the very morning, like when we were getting off the bus, or like we were on the bus, or if we were leaving the bus and like walking towards our either the cafeteria or the classroom. That's the two places you can go to. So I'm thinking that it was off the bus, because the two people I told one rode my bus because she lived like down the street, and then the other one, they lived near my elementary school, so they would not be on the bus. But I just remember, maybe it was like, I told the girl that lived in my neighborhood, I told her that I was pansexual, and she said, what the fuck is that? Back in the day, the only definition I could really give for it was, it's basically, or best explanation in my head was that it was basically like bisexual, but you love everybody instead of just girls and boys. And then she was just like, oh, and I was like, and I'm also genderqueer. And she was like, what's that? No, I didn't tell her genderqueer. I just told her I was queer, which now, like, I know that it's like an umbrella term, but back in the day for me, queer meant like genderqueer, I guess, because I told her I was queer and pansexual. So, and then I don't remember what the fuck definition I gave for queer, but it was like so fucking complicated in my head. I remember spending like 3 minutes explaining it at a time. And going back to number one, because I completely skipped over that, my gender identity is I don't give a fuck, because I don't really care. I guess that would make me still gender fluid or queer, I don't know exactly. And I mean, you guys can tell me if you know anything about LGBT, but for me, I answer by she pronouns. But if you called me a guy, I would not care. I would just be like, cool, thanks. Because I mean, when I get rid of this, I might look like a guy anyways, and I don't really care. It's not, gender is not a thing that I care about. Not for me personally, at least. Okay, third question is, what is an LGBT slur you hate the most? The slur I hate the most is dyke. Question 4, have you ever considered going back in the closet, and if so, why? That closet? Yeah, I've gone in it plenty of times. And yeah, I have considered it because, well, not at school. At school, I don't give a fuck about people like that. I don't really mess with people at school like that. I don't date anybody at school. A huge amount of people in my school know that I'm lesbian, but they don't really care, and that's great, because I don't really want to make it this huge deal or anything. But the reason why I've considered going back in is because I was kind of forced to come out. Since it was a forced coming out, I was still in this like trying to find myself type of place. At the time, I was trying to figure out if I was really into women. Like, I just grew up with this mentality in my head that it was like, women go with men, men go with women. That's it, nothing more. There's no, like, if you even thought about it, it was taboo. And it was just like, no one really talked about that. No one really said anything besides, oh, she's pretty, she's cute, she's so beautiful, whatever. And I'm over here like, she's pretty, but she does something else to me. But yeah, going back to why, yeah, I was planning on doing like the whole surprise, I'm gay, but like one of those where I'm like 20, I have a life, I have a house. So if I just come out to my parents and they completely deny me, I'm gonna just be like, well, fuck it, I already have a life. It's not like I'm losing 100% of everything I have, like when people get kicked out of their houses. But I'm glad that I didn't come out to my dad, and my mom hasn't said anything to my dad. I asked my mom about it. She told anything to my dad when I came out to her, and she said no. And she said something else along the lines of, I wouldn't tell him either. And I kind of figured out why. And I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out too. But my brother doesn't give a fuck. My brother's just like super liberal, peace signs everywhere. So me and him have a lot of cool conversations about stuff like this. So he doesn't care. He's just like, okay, and let's talk about Chinese economy and stuff. Because me and him have a lot of conversations about random shit for no reason. Question 5, have you ever self-harmed or considered suicide because of things related to your sexuality? It's never been one of those things that it was like one had to do with the other. Like when I was going through my like suicidal phase and stuff because my anxiety got so bad, and then depression, just during that time was around the same time where I was like figuring out everything. So it just didn't make it easy, but it wasn't like, I want to be able to love girls, but I can't, and like do something crazy. It was more like, there's so much shit going on, and that's one of them, and guess what? I have like a million other things to fucking think about at the same time. I fucking hate this. And that's where the considering suicide comes in, but I've never attempted, and I never extremely self-harm, like to the point of scars. All the scars I have are from past cats that I've had, and they're like battle scars from having wild cats. But yeah, none of them are self-inflicted. Question 6, did you have any experience as a child that might have foreshadowed your sexuality? So there's actually a funny story attached to this. I remember being like, 5? I remember being around that age. I would remember my brother would be like whistling every time a hot girl would go by. So then when I was like around 5, we were at a supermarket, and my mom was trying to buy some groceries or something. And you know how there's those like cutout models like pointing towards different beer companies or whatever while in the store? So there was like a cutout of one, and she was like this, and she was all super hot and whatever. And I was like, I looked at it, and I was like, oh shit, she's hot. So then I went to my mom like, look at her. I like tapped my mom, and I was like, look at her. And then I like whistled too. And then my mom like slaps me, and she's like, you don't do that. And I was like, why? She was just like, that's not what people do. And I don't know if she hit me because that was gay, or if that was like just because that's, females, like, you don't do that in general. That's just disrespectful as fuck. But that's the earliest memory that I have of me being gay. Okay, question 7 says, How old were you when you knew, and what was it like? When I knew, I was in 6th grade, so I was about probably 12 or 13. But yeah, and what was it like? I was just like, shit makes sense now in my head. I love everybody, but I wouldn't have sex with everybody. And that's why I consider myself to be lesbian and not pansexual, because I can love anybody, obviously, but I wouldn't have sex with everybody. Did you face any problems regarding religion? Not really. I was never this like super religious person, and the only reason why I have even religious figures at all in my room is because my parents gave them to me. Yeah, they just told me I needed Jesus, and I was like, okay. Question 9, how did your parents take it, or how do you think they might take it? So my mom took it as, when I came out to her, we all like girls. That's basically what she said, is that we all like girls and we all like the opposite gender. But like in my head when she told me that, I was like, I bet you wouldn't do the stuff I would do to a female though, even though you like females. She meant it as, I like you, you like me, we're friends. Or I love you, you love me, we're good friends, or we're best friends, whatever. She didn't mean it as, I like you, want to go out. So yeah, and then my dad, I don't know. I really don't know. And that kind of worries me. But like I said, I'm gonna do that surprise thing. My mom's in denial and my dad doesn't know, so you know, we'll see. What do you think about LGBT pride? Is it helpful or hurtful, encouraging or unnecessary? I think LGBT pride is definitely necessary, and it's important and it's helpful, because there's people out there that I'm like 1000% sure that if it wasn't because of like pride parades and stuff like that, people who have pride and they express it outwardly and they explain stuff to people and all this different stuff, if it wasn't for them, a lot of people would still be in those like religious mindsets, I guess, where they'll be like, this is wrong, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure we've all had that one person around us that has made a commentary that would be pre pride and LGBT and stuff like that. What does marriage mean to you? Marriage to me means you are on lockdown. It means that you love somebody enough that you can stay with them forever. That's basically what marriage is to me. I don't know, marriage is very weird. When I get married, I'm gonna try my hardest to convince whoever I end up with to not have a big wedding, because I hate spending money. I'm gonna just convince the fuck out of them to like spend the least amount possible, because like all that costs so much money for no reason. Like, why would you spend $10,000 on a wedding when you could spend it on a house? Think about it. It makes fucking sense to spend it on a house or a car. Your favorite LGBT role model or celebrity? Ali Hills, Amanda, I don't know his last name, but Amanda, and Stevie, and Amanda's girlfriend. I don't remember what her name is. I feel bad, because I watch her a lot actually. Favorite LGBT artist? Demi Lovato. Favorite LGBT quote? Love is love. Talk about something within LGBT community that you don't understand or you might have questions about. Okay, so with this, I don't understand what was going on like a year ago, I think, where everybody decided all of a sudden that bisexual people shouldn't even be in LGBT when LGBT, like, it's just ridiculous the way. Why would you do that, you know? For a community that's supposed to be about love, why would you push hatred and unacceptance for somebody within the same community. Like, oh, you're bisexual, you don't really count because you're mostly straight, you're only a little bit gay, or you shouldn't even be called bisexual because you're mostly gay, you're not even that much straight. And it's just like, okay, and it's your problem because, I mean, that's the same fucking reason we give to a straight person when they ask us, why are you gay? Like, why would you use basically the same question for somebody in your own fucking community? That's disrespectful as fuck, in my opinion. And it's just, like, not tolerable. I don't understand why that happened. And even if it is still happening, then you need to cut that shit out, because that should not be in our community whatsoever. So, question 16 is butch or femme. I don't know if it's asking me if I prefer one or the other, or if I am one or the other. I personally consider myself to be more STEM, like the style that I likes. But a lot of people have called me a stud, and I don't give a fuck, because it's just, you're just saying styles of clothes. I'm just like, okay, and okay, so 17 is political issues that are closest to you or that affect you the most. I am in North Carolina right now, and as everybody in the world knows, that North Carolina tried to do this fucking law with transgender people, and I'm over here like, excuse me, no, that's not what we do. I don't even know if that's still a law, because I heard something about Obama shutting that shit down, then something else happened. I don't fucking know. And it affects me because that's still my community. You can't tell my community what to do. Not like that. It's just like, it's a bathroom. Who fucking cares? Shut the fuck up and be like Europe and like do unisex bathrooms that actually charge you every time you go into it. Fucking Europe, bruh. They're such douchebags when it comes to certain shit. They charge you, especially in my country. If you want to use the bathroom, they charge you. Because, and when you ask them why, they'll say it's to keep everything clean and to give you good service. Because there'll be like somebody with the toilet paper outside the bathroom, and then you give them the money, and he gives you the toilet paper, and then you gotta give it back to him when you come back out. Like, I don't need you to hold my toilet paper, bitch. Come on now. An LGBT image that makes you smile. I'm gonna insert it here. LGBT image that makes you cry or makes you angry. Okay, 20 is the stupidest argument or comment you have heard about gay people or an LGBT issue. There was this boy in one of my classes that he told me, I think he said something along the lines of, you can't really be transgender because you still have those genes inside of you. And I turned to him and I said, and what does that have to do with you? And then he was like, well, I'm just saying that you have an XY gene, which means at one point you had an XX gene, making you a female before you were even born, and then you developed the XY gene, making you a male. That's also why you have nipples, and then I just went on this whole fucking rant about like genes and stuff and how irrelevant his comment was, and then he just stood there and he was like, oh. I was like, yeah, so don't say anything else. And I don't know if that was exactly what he said, but I just remember telling him that. And he's not necessarily a closed-minded person. It was just that he just made that comment, and it like set off my my activist side of my brain, and I had to like explain it, but I was like mad at the same time. Plus there was something going on earlier with people in that same class, and I got kind of upset. The last question is your favorite gay joke, just to end it off on a good note. My favorite gay joke is when people call me gay, and it's one of those things like I'll be with my friends, or I'll give them a hug, and they'll be like, oh, you're so gay, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Or we'll like play around like that. But yeah, that was all the tag questions. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video. Hope you can like, comment anything you have to say, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to make videos every day now. I don't know how long that's gonna go for, because I start having a life after I go into school. And that life is a lot of stress from homework and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys